So, how much FHA loan can I afford? Hi, I'm Scott Shang from the Find My Way Home Network. And this is such an important question because how much you qualify for with an FHA loan is going to depend not only on where you live, um, but also what you can afford. And there's a big difference between what you can afford and what you can qualify for. So let's go ahead and let's talk about this a little bit. And let's talk about what I can afford. Now, when you talk about what you can afford, we're really kind of talking about there's really two factors that determine what you can afford, or two restrictions that you're going to run up against when you're trying to see how much you qualify for. And these two restrictions are your debt to income ratio and the state and the county that you're going to buy in or that you live in. Now, when it comes to FHA, the debt to income ratios are much more lenient and much more flexible than any other debt to income ratio. And your debt to income ratio, what that is the total amount that your housing payment is allowed to be as a percentage of your total income after paying all of your debts. Now, I know it sounds complicated, but you have all of your income minus your debts, and then you have what your housing payment is. And it needs to, you with FHA, you have what's called a front end debt to income ratio, and you have a back end debt to income ratio. The front end debt to income ratio is what percentage your bills are that show up on your credit report as a percentage of your gross monthly income, or your qualifying calculated income. Income is a totally different topic that we have lots of videos on that as well. But then your back end ratio is what your maximum debt to income ratio is, or what it can be once you factor in the housing payment. Now, those you have some control over this. What you don't have control over is that FHA makes the maximum loan amount that you qualify for is going to be determined on the county that you live in, and that's different in almost every county in different state. Now, a bunch of counties in the same state may have the same loan limits, but that's one of the limitations that you're going to run into. So another question that I often get is, what's the maximum FHA loan that I can qualify for? So because you have debt to income ratios and you have the county the limits, the maximum you can qualify for, first and most importantly, is determined by the maximum loan limit in the county. So if let's say your as long as your debt to income ratio meets the FHA guidelines, the published loan limit would be the maximum that you qualify for. Now, if your debt to income ratio is too high, you have to lower the loan amount until your debt to income ratio lines up with what the FHA guidelines are. And in that case, your maximum that you qualify for is not going to be the maximum loan limit. It's going to be the maximum that you qualify for based off of your debt to income ratio. Now, here's where it gets really exciting. If your debt to income ratio is fine and you had run into issues maybe last year in 2021 with the loan limits, 2022 FHA released new loan limits, and they've been increased across the country. Now, what you're seeing here is the maximum loan limit across the country is 420,680. If you live in a high cost area like California or some of the coastal counties, the maximum is 970,800. 800. So what you really want to be looking for though is your county. So your county, if you're in a standard low cost area in the state that you live in, the maximum you're going to qualify for is 426.80, but there are many, many counties throughout the country that limit is actually going to be lower. So it's very important. I will provide a link so that you can see what the FHA loan limits are. You can also Google FHA loan limits 2022, and you will be able to get those links as well. So unlike conventional loan limits where there's one loan limit and it's the same in every county, in every state in the country, FHA is going to be different. It is going to break down by the county that you live in. But the good news is with FHA loan limits going up in 2022, that's made this incredibly flexible loan available to so many more people. Now, since we're on the topic of FHA loans, FHA loans are unbelievably flexible, and I just want to share a little bit more awesomeness about FHA loans that really make this one of the best choices to qualify to purchase a home in 2022. First of all, the extremely low down payment. You're only required with FHA to use a 3.5% of the purchase price as the down payment. Now, remember, the loan amount is the loan part, not the purchase price. So the loan amount is the purchase price after you've made, or is the loan amount is after you've made your down payment. So you only have to put 3.5% down payment. And the great thing about this is whether there's 1 unit or 4 units, that's another thing that I forgot to mention. So even though 426.80, that's the loan limit for a single family residence. If you're buying a duplex or a 3-unit property or a 4-unit property, that number goes way, way up. And whether you're buying a single family home for 420,000 or you're buying a 4-unit property for 900,000, you still only have to put 3.5% down with an FHA loan. You cannot do that with conventional loan. The other great thing about FHA is it's much more flexible with the credit scores. You can have much lower credit scores. In some cases, you can go below a 600 credit score and still qualify for an FHA loan. And then also the debt to income ratios. Debt to income ratios are far more flexible on an FHA loan. The front end, before you even include your housing payment, is higher on FHA than your total debt to income ratio that you're allowed to have on a conventional loan. So at the end of the day, FHA is the reason. There's a reason why FHA is probably the best option for first-time buyers, or if you have less than perfect credit, or if your debt to income ratios, if your debt is a little bit higher and you can't qualify for a conventional loan, FHA is far more flexible than a conventional loan. So if you have any questions about qualifying for an FHA loan, you can reach me by finding the link below, or by following the link below. You can go to findmywayhome.com. You can ask an expert. Our website has mortgage experts from all over the country. You can ask us a question. You can give us a phone call, or you can schedule a time on our calendar and somebody will call you when it's convenient to answer all of the questions that you have. So if you found this valuable, please like and share so that others know that we're here to help. Thank you. I hope this was helpful.